Good morning.
Good morning, Rinpoche.
Greetings, everyone. Hello.
How are you today, Rinpoche?
I'm doing very well. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we start now.
Yeah, Rinpoche.
Yeah. Hello. Sangye chedan zogi jonam lan chanjo bardo dani gyabzo jire dagi jojen gebe zanam jola benjire sangye jo bara jo sangye chedan zogi jonam chanjo bardo dani gyabzo jire dagi joje gebe zanam ge jola benjire sangye jo bara jo sangye Tsogi chanam la chanchu pardo dani gyabso che dagi che gebe chanam ge chola pin zangi chobara sho sa shi de ge cho One of the account from one need to mute. Yep.
Ban tổ chức tắt micro của tất cả các quý vị
It's
đạo hữu
echo.
nhé.
Recording in progress.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I think today will be probably we will be concluding the text, Nagarjuna's text, letter to a friend. This today we may be able to conclude. So in even though that's not the goal to conclude, to finish, but looks like when I checked today, it seems like we will be able to conclude it today. So I think this wraps up maybe over a year of teaching on the letter to a friend by Master Nagarjuna, which is sounds like a very casual, informal kind of teaching, but informal conversation. It sounds like a very informal kind of conversation, but it's actually very ingrained with deep Dharma talk, as we have witnessed till today. And today also happens to be the International Women's Day here. So I wish to take this opportunity to reflect on the feminine side. We in Buddhist practices, especially in the Vajrayana teachings, the union or the combination of the femininity and masculinity, what we usually call the father tantra and the mother tantra, is integral part of achieving enlightenment. And wisdom the female side, the feminine side usually represents wisdom, and the masculine side represents method, and the method with the wisdom, only when method is accompanied by wisdom, then it can lead to enlightenment. And so therefore, I want to wish all of our practitioners here, especially our female practitioners, very happy Women's Day. And that may all our practices on the wisdom side develop fully. As a human being, we all are born out of our mother's womb, and then obviously our mothers are all female, and so our mother is the let's say the first sort of teacher for love and compassion. Without mother's love and even though both parents are there, but mothers taking care of us in the womb to be born and then to nurture us. Yeah. So mother's love or the is what made us survive. And I think this is the power or the strength of the feminine side, which is to the ability to give, the ability to care, the ability to love. That is the power of the female. And I think all over the world today, we need at all times, but especially in today's time, as we see in all over the world, we need so much love and care. I think it's a lack of loving and caring and understanding for each other that is troubling us all over the world, whether it's east, west, south, or north. This is what is lacking. We are lacking in wisdom. We are lacking in compassion for each other. And this is something that the women, the feminine represents, and we need that. And so therefore, yeah, it's a very important day to reflect on when we talk about Women's Day. This is what we should be reflecting on. Yeah. Yeah, I think many of you know this, but some of you may not. But His Holiness has mentioned multiple times there's a high probability that the next Dalai Lama could be a female one. And if you look at the conditions of the world now, and then it makes more sense. It makes a lot of sense that this could be true. He said his first teacher of compassion is his mother. And he always says that the compassion is not something that belong only in the religious field. It is something that is necessary for human survival. Uh, so I think that's true. As we discussed earlier, without love and compassion, we will not even survive, let alone practice religion, become a Buddhist, Christian, Muslim, whatever. Without mother's love and kindness, then we will not be able to be born, not be able to survive. So yeah, these are very important lessons, yeah, to reflect on. Oh yeah. So even though our mother and father, the people, it's very important to have love and compassion to survive in samsara. But as long as you are born in samsara, then suffering, there is no end to suffering. So as long as you are born in samsara, you are stuck in samsara, then suffering has no end. And so therefore, the lines that we are going to the verse that we are going to cover today actually refers to that one. So I will now read the two verses, verse number 114, 114, and 115. So which talks about the nature of samsara. As long as you are born in samsara, then suffering is bound to follow you no matter what. And the only way out of samsara is by practicing, by reflecting on the Four Noble Truths and by practicing the Noble Eightfold Path. Sorry, I will do 114 to 117. 114, 15, 16, and 17. Yeah,
Yeah.
4 verses.
Yeah. Và thầy sẽ đọc liền một mạch 4 khổ là từ khổ 114 đến khổ 117 là số điểm trở lại.
Kedi dungen seba sheki wan teni di kunchung jajen ten te goba ne tarpa la te te topye palam yin la te ge la te dara pape denpa shibo da tongwa ki tado zimbar ki pana pene kimba nam ki jan shebe nyumon chu le ge ki kanda chungu ki ba te da jan le papa ma la lo ton shi sarum le duen ma la te da ngun nyumon ra le so sue ke boren be nye da te la mangdo sue je se penpe damwa tenpo de la de ke ke tuk tu sue je chum den ki semne chöge zawa la bar sung. So 114 to 117.
Dạ.
So first one, the 114, 114. Let me read in English. To take birth is to suffer, and to crave is its immense and universal source. Make craving cease, and freedom will be yours. To achieve that, take the noble eightfold path. So when we talk about birth, we are not talking we are not referring to something called original birth. And in Buddha Dharma, when we talk about birth and death, it is a cycle. So after death comes birth, after birth comes death. It keeps going. It's not like there is birth is the beginning of everything and death is the end of everything, and after death there is nothing more. That is not the thing. So birth and death is like a round clock. So it goes and goes over and over again. So therefore, when we were born in samsara, we come with the baggages from our previous lives. So here, what I meant by baggages are the bad and the good karma. Yeah, negative karma, dark karma, and negative karma and positive karma that you have accumulated in your past life are your baggages. So you come with that, and based on that, you suffer or you enjoy. So if you remember our previous classes, birth is not the beginning. Birth is actually the ninth, the 10th, sorry, 11th of the 12 links of dependent origination. Out of the 12 links of dependent origination, the 12 dependent links or 12 dependent links that we covered a few weeks ago, birth is only the 11th. It's not the first one. The first one is ignorance. From ignorance comes karma. From karma comes consciousness and the name and form, and then the contact, the feeling, the craving, the grasping, and then from there comes the birth, etc. So no, from craving comes grasping. From grasping comes becoming, and from becoming comes the birth, and after birth is decaying and death. So out of the 12 links of dependent origination, the birth is only the 11th one, the second last one, if you like. So therefore, when we were born with this birth is the 11th one. So the 10 previous links are actually the baggages that we carry. So therefore, due to our ignorance and due to our positive and negative karma, we carry so much baggages, and therefore, the moment we were born, we start to suffer. Yeah. So to take birth is to suffer. As because the suffering is a byproduct. Your birth itself is a byproduct of your previous life's karma. So therefore, when you are born, you are carrying all these baggages. So, and the source of all this suffering, when we are born, we suffer, and the source of that suffering is actually craving, and otherwise known as attachment. So, when we like something, when we find a liking to something, then we want it more and more, and we want to keep it forever, and then we are attached to it. Whether it's a person, it's it's an event, it's an thing, whatever. When we develop liking to something, then we want it to be mine. ours, and not just for today or tomorrow, but forever. And that craving, that hunger, mm, that attachment, that getting stuck, is the source of all the problems. And when our mind is stuck at something, no matter whether we go here and there, if the time passes, we move on. The time moves on. Physically, we have moved, but our mind is still stuck there, and that's a big that's why we suffer. Mm. When our body moves to a different zone, and our even though we are physically in a different place, and our the body clock is stuck in a different time zone, we call it jet lag, then we suffer. We have difficulty sleeping, etc. Similarly, when our physical body is in a different place and different time, has moved on, but our mind is yet stuck onto something that is far, 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 far uh, um, behind, then we suffer because there is this tension. Your mind is stuck in the past. Your physicality, your physical body, your very presence, physical presence is in the present, of course, but your mental presence or uh, the the rest of your being is actually stuck in some other time zone or uh, in some other event. Then that tension, that pull makes us suffer. Mm. Uh, Yeah. So because of that, craving is the source of all the suffering. So when you put an end to the craving, then you have a liberation, you have nirvana. So that is the third line. Make craving cease and freedom will be yours. So here freedom refers to ultimate freedom from all suffering. That is known as nirvana, mm, the ultimate peace. Yeah, nirvana. To achieve that, take the Eightfold Noble Path. So we discussed Eightfold Noble Path last week. 2 weeks ago, we discussed that one. Mm. So by following the Noble Eightfold Path, the following the practice of Noble Eightfold Path, then we will be able to achieve ultimate freedom or ultimate peace of nirvana. For you to see these same noble truths, you must strive hard to practice constantly. Uh, mm, oh yeah. So basically, in order to seeing the noble truth, seeing the ultimate, seeing the Four Noble Truth, basically means there are two noble truth, two segments of noble truths. The first two segment of the noble truth is to be abandoned, and the later two segment of noble truths are to be adopted. So the first two segment of noble truth to be abandoned, it's called the noble truth of suffering and truth of cause of suffering. So basically, suffering and its cause. These are the two noble truths that needs to be abandoned, to be avoided. And then two noble truths to be adopted. That is the noble truth of the path and the noble truth of the cessation, end. So in simple words, basically these are two do's and two don'ts. Two do's are the path and the cessation. Cessation is basically nirvana. These are the two do's, and then there's two don'ts. Two don'ts are the suffering and its cause. So suffering itself, when it comes to you, you cannot stop it. It's there. But you can only stop the suffering by uh, putting an end to the cause of the suffering. By putting an end to the cause of the suffering, then suffering will cease. uh, if the suffering comes to you directly, then there is nothing you can do about it. Like if you are suffering from a headache, or if you're suffering from a stomach ache itself, there is nothing you can do. You have to endure it. You may take a medicine, but it will take some time for the medicine to take effect. So when the sickness, when the ailment has come to your body already, there's nothing much you can do. You have to wait and endure it. Yeah, headache, backache, whatever, right? Um, so before the suffering comes, before the headache is there, before the belly ache is there, before the back ache is there, you can always exercise, you can take proper diet, this and that, and avoid going through such suffering, such pain. So that is the cause of the suffering. So by avoiding the cause of the suffering, you will be able to avoid suffering itself. So therefore, these two are sufferings to be avoided, but suffering cannot be avoided uh, um, um, unless you avoid the cause of the suffering. So the cause of the suffering is what? The cause of suffering is afflictive emotion, afflictions, and negative karma. So from afflictive emotion, negative emotion, we have afflictive emotion in our mind, and then we do physically we engage in negative karma. So from negative mind, we have negative action, and these two are the cause of suffering. So when you put an end to negative thoughts and negative actions, then the suffering itself, the cause of suffering, is stopped, put an end. So therefore, the suffering will stop. Mm. So if you strive on the abandonment and the adoption of the abandonment of the first two noble truths and the adoption of the second two noble truths, so four noble truths. So if you do the abandonment and the adoption properly, if you strive hard, then you will be able to see the ultimate truth. You'll be able to see um, uh, the karsa. You'll be able to see the ultimate reality. So we have the following lines. Even worldly men with fortune in their laps, through knowledge, cross that river, troubled states. So even worldly men, basically worldly men is a reference to people who are people who have a family to take care of, um, people who have a family to take care of, so who are not monks or nuns, who are part of who have a family to take care of, who are worldly men. And even if they have a fortune in their laps, so first of all, worldly men and women, worldly people, people who have a family and a lot of things to take care of, even they, through proper, by striving properly in the adoption and the abandonment of the two noble truths, four noble truths, two noble truths to be abandoned, two noble truths to be adopted. If they do it properly, even worldly men, and even if you are worldly men with the great fortune like kings, then you can still see the ultimate truth. You'll be able to get across the ocean of samsara, ocean of troubled state. So troubled state here means samsara. Mm. So the reason why it's why the first line the line refers to worldly men with fortune in their lives. Fortune means something, wealth and status and position, etc. And this is because this letter was written to King Gautamaputra, which is obviously a king. And so the king has a lot of followers, subjects, family, a lot of people to take care of, and they have a lot of wealth and position and status to uphold. So even if you are someone with that kind of fortune, so many things to take care of, by adopting and abandoning the proper Four Noble Truths properly, then you will be able to see the ultimate truth. Even if you are a king, even if you have a family to take care of, even if you have a kingdom to run, you can still get across the ocean of samsara. And the the example given in the text was King Bimbisara. King Bimbisara was one of the greatest benefactor of the Shakyamuni Buddha, Shakyamuni during the Buddha's time. Yeah. So just like King Bimbisara was able to run a kingdom and take care of his family and also get across the ocean of samsara, you too, King Gautamaputra, to whom Nagarjuna was writing this letter, just like the King Bimbisara during Buddha's time, King Gautamaputra during Nagarjuna's time, he can also get across the ocean of samsara by striving appropriately with the two noble truths to avoid and the two noble truths to adopt. Then verse number 116. So it's a follow-up to verse number 115 anyways. So even those who realize the truth did not fall from the heavens, nor emerge like crops of corn from earth's dark depths, but once were ruled by kleshas and were ordinary men. So those who we regard as the noble ones, noble beings like the Buddha and let's say Nagarjuna or any of the great teachers that we know about, Mahakashapa, Shariputra, and Nagarjuna, so all these great masters that we know, they did not come out of the blue. So here, when we say did not fall from the heavens nor emerge from the corpse, it basically means, in simple terms, we usually say something like things do not fall from the sky, or money does not grow on the trees. That's what we used to say. So it's the same parable. So basically, it means it just didn't come out of the blue. There is those who we regard as the great noble, sublime beings, noble ones, like the Buddha. They once upon a time, all of them were just like us. So in the Buddhist understanding, um, the highest status, of course, is the Buddha, right? The Buddha is the highest one, Bodhisattva, Arahat, etc. So many, but the highest, the top one is the Buddha. Even though Buddha is the, let's say, the highest sort of position, but Buddha is not something that was there from the very beginning. It's Buddha, we do not regard Buddha as a god. Buddha is not something that was there from the very beginning. Uh, Someone has the klesha. Klesha means afflictions, negative emotion, like anger, so mental issues. So all these mental issues were there, and physical issues were there, and then suffering and problem all were there. And by abandoning one by one, abandoning all these negative emotions, afflictive emotions, the clashes, then one becomes a Buddha. So becoming of a Buddha is very important. The concept of becoming a Buddha. So when we talk about Buddha, we always think, because it's 2,600 years ago, so we think like Buddha was there from the very beginning. Buddha is the original. No, Buddha is not original. Buddha was a byproduct. Buddha was not the original. It's not like the Buddha was there from the beginning. Buddha is a byproduct of someone who abandoned all his, we call it stains. We call it the um, all the contaminations, all the negativities. When you remove them completely, then you become a Buddha. So Buddha was not there from the beginning. You become a Buddha. So there is a process. Buddha is a process. Buddha is a byproduct. Buddha is not the original one. So this is very important, because otherwise we think that Buddha is like the original God for the Buddhist. If you think that way, then there is no chance for us to become a Buddha. There is no chance for us to get rid of our negative emotion, because we have so much negative emotion, so much suffering going on in our lives. In the world, there's so much suffering. In our individual life, there is suffering constantly, one after another, one after another. So no end to that. So we feel like, okay, we are hopeless. Buddha was of a different caliber, of a different character, different caliber. We can never be like Buddha, because Buddha was the original one. That is wrong. Buddha was not the original one. Buddha was a byproduct. He is a result. He is not the origin. He is not the cause. Buddha, to think that Buddha is the cause, that is wrong. Buddha is a effect. Buddha is a result. And if we work hard, if we abandon the right two noble truths and we adopt the right two noble truths, the first two noble truths to be abandoned, the second two noble truths to be adopted, if we do it properly, then we can also become Buddha. We imperfect beings, swarming in samsara with suffering, we can also get rid of all of that if we strive hard. There is a chance for us. There is an opportunity for us. We have the potential. We talk about the Buddha nature. That is what the Buddha nature means. If Buddha is original, if Buddha is there from the beginning, then there is no hope for us. There's no chance for us. We are just dependent on the Buddha. That's not the case. We are dependent upon ourselves. We can save ourselves. We are our own savior. Buddha leads the way. Buddha is the guide, but we have to walk ourselves. If we do so, we can get across the ocean of samsara, ocean of suffering. So therefore, Buddha said, you are your own master. So Buddha is never the original. Buddha is the byproduct of striving hard, practicing and following the Four Noble Truths, a Noble Eightfold Path, following the Noble Eightfold Path properly, and adopting and abandoning the Four Noble Truths appropriately. So we say you are your own master. So the meaning behind that is basically if you can master or if you can control, if you can tame, if you can um, control your mind, then you become your own master. If you uh, if you cannot control your mind, if you become slave to uh, the reactionary thoughts of your mind, then you're not your master. So becoming your master, you are your own master, you are your own enemy. So the word goes something like, uh, uh, you are your own master. You are, if you are your own master, you are your own enemy. The one who controls his mind is the true master. The one who does not is an enemy to himself. So therefore, the reference, the meaning behind that now follows up in verse number 117. So verse number 117, oh, fearless one, what need to tell you more? For here is the counsel that will truly help. The vital point is tame your mind, for mind is the root of Dharma, so the Buddha said. So basically, if you clear your mind, then you have seen the Buddha. If your mind is clouded, then you are in samsara, you are stuck. If your mind is clear, you are in nirvana. So clearing the mind, it's easier said than done, of course, but then there are steps to take through which you can uh, become, you can tame the mind, you can control the mind. So controlling the mind is not talking about some magical, some hocus pocus kind of thing. Controlling the mind is right now. What happens is you can control your cup. You can put it where you want to put it. You have on the table, you're controlling it. You will put water in it, you're controlling it. The mind is not like that. Your mind just takes a, goes wherever it wants to go, especially when it comes to something emotional. Yeah. So very difficult to take care of the mind, very difficult to control the mind, very difficult to veer our mind to where we want to take it. We want to not to think of someone, but we cannot stop. But we cannot stop. Keep thinking. We want to stop thinking about something, but we cannot. We keep thinking about it over and over and over again. So basically, the mind is going wayward, haywire. It's out of control. When the mind is out of control, then we have a drunk driver in the car. So the car may get crash. We may have accident. We may have car crash. So controlling the mind is to make the driver sober and let him drive as a sober driver. So controlling the mind, the one who tames his mind is the one who has seen, who has control, who can see the ultimate truth, who has cleared his mind. The one who has cleared his mind, the one who has tamed his mind, is the one who has the root of the Dharma. That's what the Buddha said. So verse number 117. So the next verse is verse number 118. Tula teke damba kangla te pebar gelong ki jang giwa ka kangshu chube ngo te yunde dembe kuzi tun yun zu. So it's hard enough to when verse number 118, it's hard enough for monks to follow perfectly all these instructions that I have given you. Yet practice excellence, the very pith of one of these, and give your life its sense. So Nagarjuna was saying that it's not easy. What the instruction that I have given you may not be easy, even for a monks. Even for a monks, basically what that means is a monks are someone who are uh, constantly trained to follow discipline. So someone like a monk, and especially monks have no family and family matter to take care of, no finance to take care of, no country to, no kingdom to run, etc. So basically, monks are very much free to do their dharma practices. So even for a monk who is free from all these distraction, it is not easy to follow this properly. And so for a king, so for a layperson, it's difficult. And especially for a king who has all the luxury and so many more distraction than just any ordinary lay person, this is much more difficult. I know that. Um, so but if you practice, if you consistently follow this practice, uh, then slowly and slowly, and especially the very essence of what I just told you, yeah, the pith, the very essence of what I've told you, if you follow these, you may not be able to follow word by word, but if you follow the essence of the topic that the talks that I have given, so this is verse number 118, that means up to verse number 117, 117 verses that were given as an advice. If you follow the essence of these advices, then your life will become meaningful. Your life will have some sense to it. Otherwise, it's going to be it's a life of vanity. Most kings and most royal life they live a lavish life of vanity in general. So here, if you follow the very essence, the pith of what my instructions, my suggestions are, then your life will become meaningful and will be of some sense. So this is a way of encouragement from Nagarjuna, because a king is used to having everything, whatever he wishes, with his whims fulfilled. Whatever he wants to do, is just people do it for him. So therefore, you know, they have an easy life. So when Nagarjuna give an instruction as to do this, do this, do this, do so many things to follow, it's not that it's a challenge for him. So Nagarjuna is encouraging that this may not be as easy as it sounds. Even for a monks like us, it's very difficult. So this is a way of giving him encouragement and sort of a consolation. So even for monks, this is very difficult. But if you follow the very essence of the instructions that I have given, then your life will be meaningful, and there will be sense. You will be able to make sense of the life that you have lived. So in a way, Nagarjuna is also being very skillful in explaining to the kings the Dharma, because some kings can be very whimsical. So you never know when they change their mind. So you have to be very skillful in telling the king to when you persuade the king to do something, then you have to be very skillful. Otherwise, he gets you know the wrong idea, and then things turn uh, the wrong way. Yeah. Anyway, so now from verse number one, not 19, 119, that is the dedication. And so I will, 119 to 119 is dedication, and 120 to 23. So the four verses, that is uh, sort of like the closing prayer, the prayer. So 119. So I will read all of them together. Kunje gewa guna yirang shini ge lebar jaba nam sonya sangye nyi dom gile yongon ne tene gewe pongbo di ke gewa bado mebar rami ye jiden kunje ben jo wang zene papa jene se wang choba ye jo wanyam da mangbo je sonde tunya naga du jan shedan nam se de sangye shindo chom dende yoba me dang dawar jiden ge kumbo ku se bado mebar zuyo shera zudim dong jon tajen tima me la yu nam ga tanya sa den ge zene sala mi dang dore la ne na jon jo 되게 거왕 예바랍도 지세데 뉴모냥다 심전소 예지게다 제와 제세 예외 왕보니네 지된데 대명담 실라미냐 바 면제 노명아 예 고방예 바라 저 so Shebe Ting Logan Pablo Zawo Gebo Deju Lokuron Zoso. So I have completed the reading the text in Tibetan. Now the English 119, rejoicing in the virtuous deeds of all. Now dedicate your three good kinds of acts to all that they may come to Buddhahood. So three good kind basically means mental, physical, and mental, physical, verbal. Mm, good thoughts you have, uh, good action you have done, and good speech that you have given. All these are the positive. These are the positive merits, and you must dedicate all of them uh, for the benefit of all sentient beings to become Buddha. So rejoice is very important. So in especially in the Mahayana Buddhism, uh, motivation or intention in the beginning and dedication in the end. Motivation and dedication, these two are the most important part. You have to have a proper motivation to do any activity. If you have the proper motivation and the proper dedication, then it becomes a great practice. It becomes a Mahayana practice. It becomes a Bodhisattva's practice. If you don't have the proper dedication and proper motivation, then no matter how profound and deep and advanced practice you may claim to be doing, it just turns out to be just an ordinary thing. So dedication is the the we call this the two edges. The first edge, the beginning edge, is the motivation, and the last edge or the end edge is the dedication. So motivation and dedication. So dedication must be dedicated for the sake of all sentient. If you dedicate it for to become to attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings, it becomes automatically turns into a Mahayana practice, even if you just recite 1 month Om Mani Padme Hum. If you do that with this motivation and dedication, then it becomes a Mahayana practice. Otherwise, if you do a very advanced highest yoga tantra practice, very extensive sadhana without the proper motivation and dedication, it just it's just that it's just a very extensive ritual that may lead or may not lead to the ultimate goal. After this is like the Nagarjuna describes the result of this following this path, following the instruction that he has given, and by doing the dedication and so following it all properly, then there will be, of course, obviously, positive result. So the result is twofold: temporary result and ultimate result. So the temporary result is verse number 119, and half of verse 120, so 6 lines. Yeah, verse number 119 and 120 half. Then by this mass of virtuous deeds may you, in boundless lives and world of gods and men, be master of the yoga of all excellence, and like sublime Chenrezig may you work to guide the many feeble stricken souls. uh, then verse number and thus may you take many rebirths and dispel all ills, old age, desire, and hatred in a perfect Buddha field. So basically, by the temporary result is that the king, the instruction was given to the king, but anyone who follows this instruction, each of us in the group, if we follow it properly, then we will also be like the prayer of Nagarjuna. So the temporary result will be like we will become like the sublime Cheresig, and we will be able to guide those weak and feeble, stricken souls, and take rebirth in the as a bodhisattva practitioner will be able, we come back to this world to dispel the misery and suffering of all beings in samsara, uh, like that. Then the ultimate result is Buddhahood. May you have infinite life as a protector of the world, like Buddha Amitabha, sublime Lord of boundless light. And so, as a just as before, this prayer is true for King Gautamiputra as well as for us if we follow the instructions properly. Then the last two verses, 22 and 122 and 123, is once again, like the concluding, closing prayer, and wish all the best for the king. So 122, and springing from your wisdom, discipline, and bounty, may your fame and stainless virtues spread throughout the gods' realms, in the sky and on the earth, and may you firmly quell the carefree ways of gods and men, whose sole delight and joy is prodigals. So basically, Nagarjuna is saying it's okay to have a good life as a king, but also don't be too carried away by like too much distract. Don't get too distracted with all these colorful things in life. Those colors fade anyways. And once, so verse number last, 1, 2, 3, the last one. And once you have reached the mighty Buddha state, removing fear and birth and death for host of stricken and afflicted souls, then let mere name uh, then let mere name be stilled beyond the world and reach the never-changing level, free from fear that knows no wrong. So, here, verse number 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 2, you will see fame, name, this thing a lot. So the reason is for the mighty, for the powerful, legacy is very important. So, because they don't care, I mean, they have everything else, so they don't care for much other things because they have everything. What they're usually worried about is what will people think of me? How will history remember me? What will they think of me after I'm gone? So, I mean, we all are worried about that, concerned about that to some extent, but for the mighty and the powerful, legacy is is the most important thing, because everything else they have plenty. Yeah. So therefore, Nagarjuna, of course, being a great reader of psychology, you might say, so he is actually catering to the whims of the king, that if you want your legacy to be remembered as that of a great king, of a just king, of a noble king, then these are what it's important to follow these instructions as I have given. Yeah. So on the footnote, which is also part of the text, is this completes the letter to a friend by the great master and protector of all beings, Arya Nagarjuna, who wrote to his friend King Surabhibhadra. So there are a few different names, like Gautamiputra is one of them, and Surabhibhadra. Here he's referred to as Surabhibhadra. So the learned Indian abbot Sarvajnana Deva and translator, the Venerable Gawa Pelzek of Tibet, translated and corrected this and produced in a definitive version. So that's the end of the text now. So now this is, yeah, as we are successfully able to conclude today's teaching, the letter to a friend by Master Nagarjuna. As we said in the beginning, it's letter to a friend, like, sounds very informal, but it's very profound too, and very practical. There are many. So when we talk about the Buddha Dharma, um, it's not like a novel book, right? Novel book, storybook, fiction, where you read from the beginning to the end and then you just throw it away. It's something like an instruction of let's say, a manual instruction of a product, let's say, a washing machine, or I don't know, like a car, whatever. So it's like a manual instruction. So whenever you have a um, problem, troubleshooting, you need to read that book, and you have to refer to that. So just like that, letter to a friend is something like that. Uh, you read when you are facing some. Uh, of course, you can read it when you are not facing any trouble, but especially when you are going through some hardship, some challenges, then you read a particular line. So when whatever line that sticks, that stays with your heart, you just mark them, and you can always come back to that line. This can be your, let's say, moral booster. It can be your motivation. It can be your strength. So always come back to that line. For example, His Holiness always used the line from Bodhisattva Charya Avatar, that may I always remain in samsara, as long as space remain, as long as sentient beings remain in samsara, may I always remain in samsara, to dispel the misery of all sentient beings. So um, His Holiness says this is his strength. And like that, it gives, for His Holiness, it gives him strength to stay in samsara, to suffer with other sentient beings. This is his strength. For many of us, we try to run away, evade the suffering. For His Holiness, striving in samsara with sentient beings is his strength. So like that, so strength can come in many forms. For a mother who loves her child, um, enduring suffering for the sake of that child is her strength. If strength does not necessarily mean something pleasant. Strength can be very uh, uh, a challenge can also be a strength. So we keep this. So the instructions. uh, The reason it's called instruction. We call it the Dharma teaching are like manual instructions. We keep them. We use them. We practice them. We follow them. It's not something we read one time and put it away. We keep them. We keep it at our heart. We follow it like that. Yeah. So sometimes when the situation is subtle, in certain situations, mantras keep chanting and chant mantras and chants keep echoing in my mind, my head, and I cannot stop them when I'm going through some inappropriate situations. Am I committing a fault of disrespect or anything like that? Thank you. Yeah. So basically, in whatever situation, good situation, bad situation, appropriate, inappropriate, doesn't really matter. Whenever you are, if mantras keep coming in your humming and coming and ringing in your mind, there's nothing wrong with that. You um, even in inappropriate situations, even in yeah, in whichever situations, if mantras keep popping up, it is not disrespectful. You can, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's one thing to, like, when we are doing a certain chanting or prayer, then we try to keep our conduct pure and all that. But even if you're conducting something, um, let's say some inappropriate or some impure or whatever you may call it. So in whatever situation, if the mantra just comes up or some chanting just comes up in your mind, that's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. We try to, of course, we try to behave in a more appropriate and proper way when we go to a chanting, when we do a proper prayer. But uh, if chanting and prayers come during inappropriate moments, there's nothing wrong with that. You can continue, or you can keep doing that. If it's not disturbing you, you can continue to think of you can continue to recite those mantra or chant this mantra mentally, even if you are engaging in something inappropriate. So the first question is more to do with in our Vajrayana practices. The Everything is very precious, including the body. And so therefore, when we have to give blood donation, um, our body, including our blood, semen, and so everything is very precious, and they must be taken care of, sustained. And so, what should we do about blood donation? Whether I would be grateful if you could clarify. So basically, the question is, since our body is precious body, the Vajra body, as we call it, the diamond body, and everything, the body is very important. So therefore, the physical aspect of ourself is very important. So should we or should we not engage in blood donation and etc., like organ donation, etc., if you are the Vajrayana practitioner? So the thing is this, once again, harmful or not harmful. So we are talking about harming the body. So as a Vajrayana practitioner, you must not disregard and harm the body. That is the thing. So harming is intent based, motivation based. Uh, when the when you are sick and the doctor operates you, the surgeon operates on your body, he cuts your body, he takes your body organs out, but he's not harming you. You're not angry with the doctor for cutting you in half, cutting your body, slicing your body, because you know the intention is not to harm you but to heal you, right? So when you give blood donation, when you donate blood, or when you do organ donation, so to speak, uh, if you are, compassionate enough to give away your kidney, etc., you are not trying to harm anyone. You're not trying. Your intention is not to harm others. Your intention is not to harm yourself. Your intention is to heal others. So therefore, it is not considered harmful. It's not considered disregard of the body, disregard of the diamond body. Uh, Once again, killing yourself, suicide, is very much against the Dharma, especially Vajrayana practice. Because when you try to kill yourself, you are doing it out of disregard. You're doing it out of harmful intent. You want to get rid of this body. You want to get rid of yourself. You want to pulverize yourself out of existence, so that you want to destroy. When you do the blood donation, you don't want to destroy your blood. It's not like you want, or I have too much blood and I want to destroy that. It's like I want to help people. So that's the intention is kindness, compassion. So it's totally different. So yes, if you harm, if you um if you inflict harm on your body, uh, harm means something that you do with the intention is to destroy it, then it's harmful and it's against the Vajrayana practice. But if your intention is to help and heal, then it's not against the Dharma. We have many stories like that. One of which may be the story of Arya Deva, who is a great Arya Deva is one of the foremost prominent student of Nagarjuna. Maybe some other time we can talk about him. So Arya Deva is a great master. He is also a Vajrayana practitioner. And when he was, there was a time, long story short, there was a time someone come to him and asked for his eyes. And he took out his eyeballs and gave it to him, transferred eyes. So he was a Vajrayana practitioner, but it's not out of disregard for his body, but for love, compassion, and the healing. The intention is to heal the other person. So he give his eyes. So the intention here plays a very important role. Feeding someone, giving food to someone is considered good, generosity. But if you put poison in the food and give to someone, it's negative. It's destructive. That's why it's negative. It's not. It creates negative karma. At the same time, that same food, if you know someone is having poisonous food and you steal that food from them, it's actually positive because you are saving someone's life. So giving and taking is not necessarily the good or bad. Not the deciding factor here. It's the intention. If you give poisonous food to someone, it's negative. If you steal or take poisonous food from someone, it's positive. So it basically depends on the intention. Yeah. So harmful and healing, harmful or beneficial, also depends on the intention. And and Vajrayana is Mahayana practice. And in Mahayana, as we said before, intention, motivation, and dedication. Motivation, dedication is the key factor. Motivation decides everything. Yeah, positive or negative. Yeah, dedication, please. Yewa ndiye nyurdo dalama sangye nrubyoro nyantrowa chekya malum kegi sala gebara sho chanjo semjo rembo anje maye panam ke gyuro keba nyamba mebara yang kone gondo bewara sho me Zhen Jin Jin Zhen Zhen Gen Be Wai Mo Zhan Be Yang De Bo Mo Lu Zhou Ma Zi San Wen Da Gan Jin Gen Be Zui Gen Zong Gan Ba Lo Zai Zai Be Shai Lai Sui Wan De Lo Zai Zai Be Shai Lai Sui Lo Zimbabwe Bengashi Namando Yukun La Chanju Be Lobsan Chik Ye Jamzo Chogu Do Jenje Joden number so de.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Rinpoche. I
Thank
would
you so
like
much.
to express
Cảm ơn
our
chị
deep
Oanh ạ.
gratitude to Tongkhor Rinpoche,
Yeah.
and we wish you very good health, and we wish that you will continue to turn the
Thank you.
Buddha Dharma and to
Yeah.
teach us and to lead
Yeah.
us to the enlightenment and to
Thank
get
you.
the Buddhahood. Thank you so much, Rinpoche.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And thank you to Sister Wang and Brother Hong for all the hard work. And everyone, wish you good health. And once again, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
And yeah. And may the Dharma benefit all of us. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Rinpoche. Thank you so much, Rinpoche, on the occasion of the International Women's Day. On behalf of all the sister, Dharma brothers, sister, we would like to express our deep gratitude to Rinpoche, and we would like to request Rinpoche to arrange a time. So after the teaching of the letter to friend of the Nagarjuna, you continue to select another teaching so that you can teach us in the coming time. Thank you so much, Rinpoche.
Yes, definitely we will. Yeah, follow up. Yeah. Thank
Chắc
you.
chắn là thầy sẽ lựa chọn một cái giáo pháp
Thank
khác
you, Rinpoche.
giảng dạy
Thank
cho chúng
you.
ta. Thank you
Cảm ơn
so
anh
much,
Hưng. Cảm ơn chị Oanh.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Rinpoche.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Brother Hong. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Bye
Thầy
bye.
cảm ơn tất cả